Hey, Ryan Webb here, and welcome to this week's video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the human design type of the projector, specifically the projector strategy, which is to wait for the invitation. Before we dive into the content, I want to remind you that we are doing a 2-hour human design reading giveaway, meaning at the 150 subscriber mark, we're going to be giving away a free 2-hour human design reading to one lucky subscriber. All you have to do to enter for your chance to win is subscribe to our channel and leave a comment below. The more videos you comment on, the more chances you'll have to win. So I'll be talking again about that at the end of the video. For now, let's dive in. So the strategy of waiting for the invitation of the projector often creates a lot of confusion when a projector first learns about this. And the projectors make up, if you're a projector, you're one of 18% of the population approximately. And your strategy is very different than 70% of the population, which are generators like myself. And the strategy of the generator is to respond using something called the sacral response. And that's an energetic intelligence of an energy either rising up the front of the body or collapsing in the region 3 fingers below the belly button. So often you'll look at the world and you'll see a lot of generators with a lot of energy. So generators have a lot of energy, consistent energy that never runs out really, unless they are saying yes to too many things that aren't correct for them. Then eventually they're going to burn out. But if they're listening to their sacral response, then they are always going to be saying yes to the correct things and no to the incorrect things. And in that scenario, they're living in alignment with their design and they're always going to have this energy. And as a projector, you don't have a consistent source of energy, meaning a consistent source of sacral energy. So depending on where the planets are in the sky, depending on who you're around, you're going to have your energy showing up, kind of turning on and turning off at different times. So the worst thing you can do as a projector is to drink coffee in order to try to keep up with all the generators. And unfortunately, that's a very common thing I see projectors doing, because it's easy to compare yourself to the 70% of the planet you see running around doing all of these things. Now, this doesn't mean as a projector that you're not designed to accomplish things and to use energy and to get things done. It just means that you're designed to do it in a little bit of a different way. Your aura is focused and absorbing compared to the generator aura that is more of like a beacon of energy. It's kind of sending out this beacon, letting people know that they have energy to be utilized. So people will often sense that energy and ask generators to be a part of their project or to be a part of an initiative. The difference is your aura, instead of being a beacon that's beaconing out, the projector aura is absorbing in. So if you're living in alignment with your design, if you're allowing yourself to rest when you need to rest, if you're allowing yourself to not push when you don't have the energy, then your aura is naturally going to be absorbing the information around you. And you can be a great observer of the world naturally. Sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. You'll see patterns, you'll see things, you'll see inefficiencies in people and situations and society before others do. So you're often the first to notice something that isn't working. Now, that's because your aura is designed to do that. And you're a great guide for others in that way, because you do see things that others can't see. Especially generators like myself, when we're running around using all of our energy, we can often end up in blind spots. Now, generators are also very stubborn. I can speak from experience. So I need to be ready to hear the guidance, to hear the wisdom that you see before I can actually receive it, which is where waiting for the invitation comes in. If you don't wait for the invitation, if you try to force something on someone when there isn't an either explicit invitation from that person or an implicit invitation from the situation, you're going to be met with resistance. You're not going to be received. You're not going to be recognized, and you're going to end up feeling bitterness. And bitterness is your not self theme, because you're not going to feel seen and understood and appreciated for this natural genius that is yours. And the only thing that keeps you from being recognized is timing. Now, like I said, all invitations don't have to be explicit. One of the things that I find projectors struggle with the most is that they are wondering, well, what does this mean? Do I just have to sit back on the couch and do nothing? And no, that's not true at all. There are the explicit invitations that are sometimes required to really wait for a person to feel all the wisdom that you've been absorbing into your aura, and to notice finally when they're ready to finally change, to use their energy more efficiently. They're gonna feel like, wow, that person knows something. They're not, if they don't know human design, they're not going to think, wow, that's a projector and they know something, but they're going to feel unconsciously in your aura all that you've been absorbing, that you have something for them, and they will invite you. And in that moment, the receptivity is there. So your wisdom and guidance will be received and you'll feel recognized. Now, the key piece here, though, is that there are also implicit invitations. In other words, situations can invite. For example, if you're in a relationship with someone, let's just use a romantic relationship, for example, you've been invited into a romantic relationship, you said yes, then in that relationship, there's an implicit invitation for you to initiate, to say, oh, do you want to go to dinner tonight? Or, what if we go for a hike? You don't have to just sit back and wait for the other person to invite you to every date. You have this implicit invitation within a relationship. That doesn't mean that you can see all the ways your partner isn't using their energy efficiently, or is harming themselves or self-sabotaging themselves. That doesn't mean to share all of that. That more likely requires an explicit invitation from the person, because they have to be ready to receive that kind of insight and support, which is one of the hardest things for the projectors, because it's the people you love most that are closest to you that you can see how they can support themselves better. And it's so clear to you, but they have to be ready to receive it. And it can lead to a lot of that bitterness. If you try to tell them something, they're not ready. It can lead to a lot of tension, a lot of fighting in a relationship that is just unnecessary. So the practice as a projector, which is the hardest thing, is to practice being with all the things you see and know without saying it until the right timing is there. Now, I'll preface this by saying there's a lot of subtleties, right? Depending on the gates and channels you have defined in your chart, depending on which centers are defined, which centers are undefined. There's a lot of videos on this channel about, there's a beginner gates and channels video. There's 3 different videos on the individual, collective, and tribal gates. So I recommend you checking those out too and starting to get into some of those subtleties. But for now, just sticking to the general idea of waiting for the invitation. Now, so we talked about in relationships. Let's talk about in your work and service and purpose in the world. So, for example, if you're an entrepreneur, then there might be a confusion around, well, how do I actually start a business? How do I market myself if I have to wait till I'm invited? So markets can invite you to. Again, situations like the collective market might be asking for something. They might not specifically be asking you if they don't know you're doing it, but there can be a collective need that is an implicit invitation. So I love to use an analogy here of creating a dance floor, right? So if no one can ask you to dance if you're not out on the dance floor, this is the idea. So it's about sharing what you're up to in the world, letting people know kind of what you're noticing. For example, perhaps on social media or just in conversations as you're moving through the world. Sharing what you're doing, what you're up to. You're kind of creating the dance floor. And then you're out there dancing on that dance floor of what you do in the world. And then people know to specifically invite you, to give you that explicit invitation. And I've seen this work for friends of mine while I'm a generator, constantly moving and doing lots of actions all the time in order to create business for myself. My projector friends are simply sharing with the world what they're doing and then kind of waiting. And the invitations come to them in a unique way that they don't come to me. And that's the brilliance of the projector type. And neither type is better than the other. It's about living how you're designed to live and living with your unique energy in mind and how energy flows through your system and not fighting against it, not trying to be someone you're not. And you can have money and intimacy flow to you with so much more ease when you really allow yourself to surrender into waiting for the invitation. And it's a practice and being patient and gentle with yourself as you unwind and unravel any ways you were conditioned to be a generator, conditioned to do and use a lot of energy and drink coffee to keep up with everyone else. There's a transition period and being really gentle with yourself as you're supporting yourself in living in a whole different way, the way you're designed to, a way that you may have been conditioned away from when you were very young. So as you create this dance floor, then you're really allowing for the people to know what to invite you into. So that's as an entrepreneur. This also works as an employee, or if you have a certain career, if you're looking for a particular job, you can put out there the kind of job you're looking for, so people know what to invite you into. So that's the subtlety there. And as long as you are really trusting your authority. So there's also a video on our channel around the human design authority, and this is the second piece to being a projector. Waiting for the invitation is your strategy, but how do you then know which invitation is correct for you? You trust your authority. As a projector, you could have an emotional authority, you could have a splenic authority, you could have an ego authority, you could have a self-projected authority, you can have an environmental authority. All of these authorities are described in the authority video. And I really invite you to watch that video and get familiar with those. So you're not just saying yes to every invitation your mind thinks is correct or that you feel excited about, but you're trusting your inner wisdom, your inner knowing to guide you to the correct invitations. And yeah, I think that's about it. I think those are the main important points of waiting for the invitation. So all the projectors out there, I'm really curious for you to leave a comment. Let me know what your experience is with waiting for the invitation, what questions you have, what resistances you're facing, and I'm going to answer every comment. And for the other types that are watching this video, which I hope you are, it's really good for you to understand how other types work, which can only cement you working in alignment with your type. By understanding the difference between you and a projector, whether you're a manifestor, reflector, or generator, you can start to even go deeper into your own type by understanding the difference between your mechanics and their mechanics. So that's all I got for today. Just talking about the giveaway one more time. Again, it's a free 2-hour human design reading that we're giving away at the 150 subscriber mark. And right now we're giving them away every 50 subscribers until the channel builds some more momentum. That might have to be spread out a little bit. But right now, every 50 subscribers, all you have to do to enter is subscribe to our channel, leave a comment on this video, and the more comments you leave, the more videos you leave comments on, the more chances you will have to win. So watch some other videos, leave some comments, ask questions, get support. I'm excited that you're here on the channel. I hope I get to give you a reading soon. It is a $400 value for free, 2 hours, me and you, one-on-one. I hope I get to see you soon. Until then, have a beautiful day.